CHAEYOUNG Avocado. Let's do this.
네. 주문 도와드릴게요.
아보카도 토스트. 아보카도 토스트. 아보카도 토스트.
아보카도 토스트 3개 맞으시죠?
Let's call it strawberry, blueberry. I see it growing on the ground. You look like a bad one. Avocado, I gotta hide it on the ground. Feeling like a dream, baby. It's alright, I decided now. I've gone to Wonderland, no looking back. Why would I look back now? Leave me, see me, as yours. Leave me, try me, find me, just I see it coming on the ground.
Oh, interestingly enough, this is like exactly what I would have expected. Like it's so strange because it feels very familiar, and it just falls perfectly within like what I would have anticipated from a Cheong solo. It's got like a psychedelic element to it, but it's really like a slow kind of soulful R&B type of thing, right? But she does have this sort of hippie, artsy, type of aspect to her, a creative side, and it comes across here because it feels very throwback, like it feels like there's maybe there's some 70s like sounds that you could relate this to, especially rhythmically. even harmonically. There's actually really good backing vocals, right, by the band there. Um, yeah, it feels like very West Coast, um, very creative. Uh, it's a cool video. It's that's really fun because if you when you watch it, it's like the whole opening sequence. It's kind of like you can imagine it as yeah, like a comic book, or some a cartoon even, right? It gets more cartoony, like kind of like it's strange. Okay, so she's in this place, right? And this must be the daydream setting, or like this is sort of mundane. It's like a pretty grounded sort of setting until these three guys show up. Now they end up being like the guys in the band, right? But I think that they kind of represent this creative element sort of entering like a more grounded everyday type of space, you know what I mean? The whole idea of like the avocado being the song is, it's pulling from reality, kind of like trying to draw inspiration or ideas from things that are very familiar, the common sense type of like realist perspective, and that's what most artists do. So like I said, it's very artsy, right? Because that's a big part of her personality. But like it's oddly enough, it seems like exactly what I would have thought it would be, right? But it's a great sound too, very indie, almost what like a maybe a little shoegazy, like it's cool. Everything is drenched in a lot of reverb, so it has this sort of swirly, like dreamy type of texture to it. Something like a daydream, right? Like a fantasy. But then I was also towards the end, when she starts going up towards this castle in the clouds. Then it sort of made me think of like a Jack and the Beanstalk kind of thing, you know. I mean the avocado seed, right? And but then she ends up going up, ascending towards this this castle in the sky, which the most prominent example I guess I can think of from the classic examples is going to be a Jack and the Beanstalk type of fairy tale, right? And the whole thing is like this little fantasy, so it's all about that type of imaginary world, I guess you could say, right? But it's very cool. Okay, so like I said, this thing begins in a very grounded, like mundane sort of atmosphere. There's avocados right there. Okay, I didn't even notice that the first time around, but there's the avocados, and then there she is in the background. The first thing I noticed was her, right? And there's I see another young lady over there in the background as well. Very obscure, right? Like that's the interesting thing about it, is that this already feels like it's not a real, right? Like this the way the filter on this, the blur effect, like the way the focus is done, this already feels like it's a bit of a daydream already. But there's like a sort of what would you call it, music box sort of carousel like theme going in the background, like this dee da da dee da da dee da da dee da. Sounds Beatlesy, like Strawberry Fields, right? I think that's what it is. You have to be very careful about using that, so I don't think it's actually like a sample of that, but I think it's a suggestion of it, you know what I mean? But it would make sense. There's a strawberry in the background, right over the right shoulder shot there, all very very intentional, right? Um, Even the way she's dressed, right? There's the colors that she's using too. Yeah, so that's a nice. See, this is the artistic touch, right? Like she's not, instead of like saying, you know, that she's showing that aspect of her like persona through audio cues, and then also through like the visual patterns as well. And then these three guys are sitting there. Wait a minute. Does it show that shot again? I think it does.
네.
They're speaking Japanese, right? And then she's answering in Korean. Isn't it? Sumimasen. That's Japanese, and then she says ne, so she says you know, yeah, like she's coming, you know.
주문 도와드릴게요.
She's she's like bored, right? She's like da, 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 like amazing benefits of avocado. Okay, see. And the Beatles were the ones who got inspiration from like little things that they saw in like the newspapers and things like that too, right? So that's what it's doing. Again, like it's the avocado being in the newspaper ad, the avocados being on the table, the mundane, like, you know, everyday, like everybody orders avocado toast. Like it's not just like a thing to set up the theme of the song or the video, but it's like it's a trend, it's a popular trend already, right, outside of that. So it's just showing like how these things ground themselves in everyday life, and then like sort of picking at examples of it and then pulling like inspiration from that. But it's an
アボカド
interesting
トース
way
ト
to get it across.
アボカドトースト
So see, they order pretty straightforward, and then this guy,
アボカ
like there's hesitation, but it's already understood like what he's gonna order, right?
ドトースト
아보카도 토스트 3개 맞으시죠?
This shot is crazy too. Well, the opening shot, that view that's way high up, like in the corner, that's like that's not how you would frame the shot if you wanted to make it seem like you were sort of actively inside of whatever's going on. It's it's like a third person perspective. It's what you would see from like a security camera or something like that, you know. So it's not, it's you're supposed to kind of be set apart from it, like as you're watching this, right? It's not trying to sort of ground you in the experience or give you that kind of perspective. This is a really dramatic shot, and it's crazy because it goes counter like that. If you look at that opening shot, it kind of feels more angular, but everything kind of feels like it's towards the opposite side. It has like a diagonal sort of orientation. So this kind of flips everything, like, and it's very deliberate. And the cut of the avocado and the knife sound and the dramatic like boom introduces a lot of that reverb too, right? Because from when a song starts, everything is sort of drenched in reverb, and so this is cueing like a change in the in that type of like spatial awareness that's suggested now. It's beginning to expand at this point. Lots of sound texture, right? Like it has like wet sounds, you know, like which is, it's funny because that is what it feels like to eat an avocado. Like when you first get it, it's like, okay, you got the outside, right, and you make that cut, and then you got to get that little seed out of there, and that's when it like can become messy, You know, if you don't have a good technique for getting that thing out of there. And that might be like the inspiration for the song, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe just kind of fumbled one day when I was trying to get an avocado for some avocado toast. It could be. And like this little guy got the better of me. Those shots. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, hold on, hold on. Shots like this. This is really cool because it's really good use of the sort of camera prop that's used there. You know, it's really an awesome shot composition as well. It gives an interesting like depth of field type of thing because it doesn't feel consistent. Like, I don't know if it's the particular lens, but because the hands feel much closer than, you know, I mean the face, it doesn't really line up there. It's already starting to like to become well detached from reality, right? But this is a really interesting shot right here. All the suggestions of like texture and everything that happened at the start of the whole avocado sequence, and this showing the hands and like showing the inside of this mouth, like it's really sort of tactile, like it's trying to be a little bit gross, you know, which is interesting. It's just funny. It all makes sense. Like, none of this seems like out of character, right? Or atypical of personality as far as Chaeyoung and her expressive, creative side goes. And it's interesting too because we got like a minute long sort of sequence here. Now, I think she really likes to use a lot of the visual. You know, it's very well done. Like it's actually a really awesome intro sequence, and you know, I think she has represented a lot of this in drawings, or I mean, you know, like this. I can imagine her doing like a comic or a manga or something like that because she's so visual. I think she can connect a lot of these sequences like this. But I just think that's why we have like this little. It's almost like a little short film, right? That kicks off. But yeah, I just think it's leaning into her into what she likes to do as far as production and artwork and stuff. But it's well done, and it uses a lot of different mediums too, which is cool. Props and animations and stuff. Okay, so really slow groove, right? So I actually think, you know, when you hear the hat, that's gonna be 2, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right? And there's something on the 8th note pulse. It's in the percussion. And then we got so a little like 2 measure phrase then. So we're in 4, and then there's a guitar riff that's going over about 2 measures. Let's see, and then
Let's call it strawberry, blueberry. I see it growing on the ground.
so the bass comes in under the vocal, and I believe it's harmonizations that are being done by the band, like but there's a slightly delayed lyric, the vocal track that's going on in the left, but I don't know, because it could be one of them following, just like back a beat or something like that. Um, but it could be a production thing, but it is layered that way. But I feel like this seems like they would do things very practically, so I imagine that's one of the backing vocalists following on that. But it could be either. It could be either. Um, Everything has a great sound. It's a very specific sound. Like the instrumentation on this, the timbre, the effects that are on everything, like it's very very specific. So I think that this band, I don't know about them, but it sounds like they have a sound that they're pretty into or pretty established in. Because this is a very very specific and like intentional type of sound as far as the instruments, right? Even the percussion, like the drums. The drum set is very specific. Um,
Feeling like a bad one. Avocado, I gotta have it on the ground. Feeling like a dream, baby. It's alright. I decided now. I've gone to Wonderland. No looking back. Why would I look back now? Leave me.
hmm. So verse comes in, and I think most of the phrases on this are two measure phrases, and a lot of her vocal melody lines are set up to be two measures, antecedent and two measures followed, consequent, and so sort of a four measure phrase, right, overall, and then one more. So that's like a verse section, and then let's see. Very very awesome bass groove, really really cool, man. Like really like smooth playing. It's a wonderful phrase too. It's a great bass line. This is really good. uh let's see. So you could call this pre-chorus, right? um I don't, I've been listening to some songs lately, and I think you could either call this a pre-chorus or maybe like an extension of the verse, perhaps. Um, but because I think it's going to go into the chorus section next. At least that's what feels intuitive. Um, and again, I think it was about another four measure phrase, right? Da 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 da. I think it is. Uh, yeah, it's one of these things that like kind of it feels longer than it is, right? Because it's not very long. This doesn't actually have a very long runtime, because there's over a minute of the intro sequence, right? So when the song actually begins, we're under 3 minutes, right? But the tempo, right? But also the way that the phrases are written, the way it's all broken up into the 2 and 4 groups, and the way it's layered, the introduction of the bass lines at certain points, it's a really smooth a type of groove that is wonderful. It feels longer than it is, but not in a bad way, right? So there's a little bit of a delay on her vocal, right? I just heard that right now off the so that's probably what it is. She's got a delay. I don't know if they do though. It's a great texture though. They actually have like it, it, they have a pretty nice mid range, right? That sort of upper mid range, because they're not going like full falsetto here or whatever. There's a lot. This is feels like the upper end of that range before flipping up into like head voice or something. Um, but it's a pretty healthy sound. Very good control, right? It's very balanced. Like their sort of drone, that tone that has to be sustained, um, it doesn't really like shake or waver at all. Like it's just sort of like really really stable across that. There's some reverb on it, probably a little bit of delay, so it does get a little bit like murky in there, but it would be all over the place if they didn't have like a stable enough tone. So it's really cool. It's a really cool texture. See, this is because they showed up there right in the beginning, and that was like the beginning of like the avocado toast trip or whatever, right? And now they're backing her up in the performance and do the musical aspect of it. And at this point, it's like, because hold on, let me see. She points up. See, like what they're doing, does it match like the actual sound, right? So what they're performing, and they're trying to like show that they're putting all this energy into it with like the sound, with like the music that they're making, like, you know, like, or really really like pouring this out and concentrating and trying to like give you all of this, you know, support, right? And it ends up creating this, her jetpack, right? And then she's off. Yeah. They were kind of rocking back and forth, like they were swaying in the breeze or something. There's just subtle things like that, but it was an indication of movement there, and it has probably a purpose to it. I mean, it's just interesting, right? But now she's going towards this castle in the sky, so that's why it reminded me of the Jack and the Beanstalk thing. But interesting concept, right? So again, from the beginning, it's like she's saying that that there's inspiration that comes from everyday life, and that she collaborated with, I guess in this case, for this track, these particular artists here, and maybe she feels like that was her means to finally like put the album together, or to really explore like what she would do with a lot of the ideas and the things that she imagines, right? And the whole thing relates a lot of different things. Like, it isn't just audible, right? It's visual, it's texture, like the things that the sound suggests, right? The wetness of the avocado and things like that. Like, she's trying to appeal to as much sense perception as she can, and so it's about comfort also, I think, because it's such a laid back type of track, right? Like this groove is really mellow, and like the looseness of the melody, like it's there's no strain, like there's it's a very sweet, like the whole thing is this is like very very sweet, very balanced, very consistent, like very evenly sort of spread, right? And so the whole thing is very comfortable. It kind of like there's a lot of tension at the beginning, mostly through that intro sequence, and then after that it gets really smooth right from then out, and then it has this really comfortable type of texture, right? A real the bass sound is rich, so it feels stable. It feels like you don't have to worry about anything. But then everything that goes on over that, it just further suggests like, okay, relax, and kind of like a calm, like a little bit of peace, and then like maybe start to let out some ideas or something like that. And so it's a little bit about like creating a space that is comfortable enough that allows you to access maybe some of these ideas and little fantasies and things like this. So it's a pretty cool idea. It's a great sound. That's a really I don't know if, because she says goodbye at the end, right? So she's like waving and she's like, I'm taking off over here. So I don't know how much more, like if the rest of the album is done with the same group, or I would imagine, if there's opportunities to incorporate other artists or whatever, that probably is the case. But maybe it's going to go on to tell more of the story and like expand on the lore. And it's interesting. And anyways, but it's a great sound. And yeah, I do wonder what the rest of the album is going to sound like. How it's going to change up, or if it kind of tries to be more of a comprehensive and what you call it, conceptual type of thing, right? So maybe it'll have this type of like indie psychedelic, like soul R&B type of groove across the whole album. I mean, I don't know, I have no idea. But what I do know is that this sound right here, like I said, was almost exactly what I would have expected. I mean, it doesn't feel like it just feels right. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's her sound for sure. Not that she can't do other things, right? She can do other sounds if she wants to, and it'd be fun to hear that as well. But this just feels like almost exactly what I would have expected. It's a great song, but it's also so introspective, and it's like it's a immersive, romanticized sort of idea, right? And it's very cool. It's well done. Everything about it's well done. It's a great band, great mix, great production overall. The whole thing, right? The whole video, the sequence, setting up the entire like concept and everything. It's very well done. It's very well thought out, and I know she had some help along the way with stuff, but it feels like it's mostly just her ideas. You know what I mean? Certain times people will like, well, okay, if you want to pull that off, you probably should do it this way, But for the most part, I think that all the effort was really to get her ideas across as directly as she could, right? As best she could. And it's fun, and it's gonna be interesting. I wonder how many more like videos, we're gonna do. Cause to be honest, I think she'd do the whole album, like. You know what I mean? I think she would do an entire, like she could do a video for every song that's on it, I think if she had the resources and the backing and everything, I think that she definitely would. But we'll see what happens. It's very awesome. Very happy for Chaeyoung, and very proud. It's a long time coming, and I knew she was gonna be the next one to release a solo album too. Like I called that a while back. Well, actually, after Chewy's solo, I knew it was coming. Like I could feel it. I knew it was on the way. But yeah, it's great. It's pretty awesome. All right, let's see. There's a couple other things I gotta check out. So I'm gonna try to do that today. But very 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 interesting and expressive and creative introduction to Chaeyoung's solo work that we got here. So she did a great job on this. Yeah.